In Trinidad and Tobago, long before Chutney Soca filled massive stages, Drupatee Ramgoonai was already rewriting expectations. She stepped into a space where tradition was sacred and bold expression was often questioned. And she sang anyway. Blending Indian folk roots with Caribbean rhythm, she didn't just perform music, she sparked cultural conversation. A pioneer, a risk-taker, a symbol of identity. But beyond the headlines and history, what does her life in Trinidad truly look like? Before the stage lights, before carnival crowds, before the term Chutney Soca even existed, there was a little girl in Charlo, Penal, singing. Drupatee Ramgoonai was born on March 2, 1958, in southern Trinidad, into a Hindu family rooted in agriculture. Life was simple, structured around fields, family, and faith. Her parents worked the land. Her upbringing was grounded, disciplined, deeply cultural. But music was never far away. Her mother sang barans and bhajans at home, at weddings, at community gatherings. For Drupatee, music wasn't a hobby. It was air. One early turning point came when she performed Jai Jai Shiva Shankar in the Prime Minister's Best Villages program, a moment that showed her voice belonged beyond the village. Training soon followed. She studied classical Indian vocal music under respected teachers like Ustad James Ramsawak and Professor Adesh. This wasn't casual singing. It was discipline, technique, structure. By the early 1980s, she was gaining national recognition through Mastana Bahar, winning the local song category in both 1983 and 1984. Then she made a bold move. In the mid-1980s, Drupatee stepped into calypso and soca, becoming the first Indian Trinidadian woman to pursue the genre professionally. At the time, this wasn't just a career decision. It was cultural disruption. Soca was largely Afro-Trinidadian. Indian folk music remained separate. Few believed the two could blend. She believed otherwise. By 1987, she released her debut album, Chutney Soca. With that project, she didn't just drop songs, she defined a genre. English and Hindustani lyrics flowed over soca rhythms, layered with tassa drums, dholak, and dantal. It was fusion, but more importantly, it was unity. Afro and Indo musical traditions met on the same stage. A year later, in 1988, she released Roll Up the Tassa, Mr. Bissessar. The song nearly captured the Road March title at Carnival and exploded across the islands. It proved Chutney Soca wasn't novelty, it was movement. Of course, innovation invites criticism. Songs like Lick Down Me Nani sparked backlash, especially around gender roles and cultural expectations. But Drupatee didn't retreat. She stood firm. Being first meant absorbing controversy, and she did. Through the 1990s and 2000s, she continued performing at carnival events, festivals, and international stages. The genre she pioneered grew into mainstream competitions like the Chutney Soca Monarch. What once felt risky became celebrated. In the 2000s, collaborations with artists like Machel Montano, including tracks like Real Unity and Indian Gyal, reintroduced her to younger audiences. Recognition followed. In 2025, she received the Hummingbird Medal, Gold, from Trinidad and Tobago for her contributions to the arts. More than 4 decades after she began, her influence was officially honored, and she isn't slowing down. In 2026, she released Sab Sakian, produced by Big Rich at Pungalunk's Factory, and arranged by Adesh Sahadeo and Zahir Big Rich Khan. She performed at major carnival events, including the NCC Carnival 2026 launch at Brian Lara Promenade. Interviews, red carpet appearances, Carnival Village. She remains active, reflective, proud. Over 40 years later, Drupatee doesn't just sing Chutney Soca. She is Chutney Soca. After all the awards, carnival stages, and decades of breaking barriers, Drupatee Ramgoonai didn't relocate to some distant luxury enclave. She stayed in Penal, South Trinidad, the very region that shaped her voice, her faith, and her identity. And that decision says more than any headline ever could. Let's step into her life at home in Trinidad. Her home stands out gently in the neighborhood, a two-story Caribbean-style house painted in a soft, light blue that almost mirrors the island sky. It's framed by a classic white fence and secured by a decorative iron gate, detailed with airy concrete latticework that feels both protective and welcoming. There's no dramatic security wall, no oversized grandeur. Instead, there's openness. The front yard is paved in concrete, spacious but uncluttered, lined with palm trees and tropical greenery. The plants soften the structure, adding movement and life to the property. When the breeze rolls in from the nearby coast, the entire space feels light and breathable. It's peaceful. The kind of neighborhood where conversations still happen outside, where community isn't just a word, but a rhythm of daily life. Inside, the house carries warmth. The design leans toward traditional Trinidadian comfort, practical furniture, soft tones, personal touches that reflect culture rather than trends. You can imagine bajans once echoing softly in the background, or tassa rhythms being practiced before carnival season. There's a sense that music doesn't just visit this house, it lives here. From this peaceful seaside neighborhood in Penal, Drupatee continues creating music that carries across the islands and beyond. Her surroundings may be humble, but her influence is monumental. And naturally, that legacy has also translated into financial success over the years. Let's now look at her income and net worth. When people talk about Drupatee Ramgoonai, the focus is usually on culture and legacy. Money rarely leads the conversation, and that makes sense. She built a genre. She reshaped identity. As of 2026, there are no verified public records detailing her exact net worth. Unlike global pop stars, Chutney Soca Pioneers rarely publish financial statements. However, based on industry patterns in Trinidad and Tobago, we can understand how her income is structured. Live performances remain one of the strongest pillars. Carnival season alone can mean multiple appearances at fetes, concerts, and cultural showcases. Mid-tier Chutney Soca artists typically earn between 2,000 Trinidad and Tobago dollars to 5,000 Trinidad and Tobago dollars per event, roughly $300 to $750 per gig. As an icon and headliner, Drupatee would likely command higher fees, especially for premium carnival nights or international bookings. Multiply that across peak season appearances, and live performance becomes a meaningful annual revenue stream. Competitions also contribute. Events like Chutney Soca Monarch have historically offered significant prize pools, sometimes reaching totals around $88,000 distributed among finalists. Individual payouts can range from $1,000 to $10,000 per event, depending on placement and structure. Over decades of participation and influence, these earnings accumulate. Then there's music royalties. Streaming platforms such as Spotify and YouTube typically pay between 3 cents and 1 cent per stream. While that may sound small, long-standing hits continue generating steady income year after year. For established artists, major releases can initially bring in $5,000 to $20,000 through sales, advances, and early distribution deals. Songs that become carnival staples often enjoy extended radio life, adding to long-term royalties. Her wealth isn't built on one blockbuster payday, it's layered. Add to that personal investments and assets accumulated over 40-plus years, and you see a sustainable financial journey. And for Drupatee Ramgoonai, music has never existed in isolation. From the very beginning, her voice carried community. And that sense of responsibility extends far beyond carnival stages. Like many respected artists in the Caribbean, she has quietly supported charitable causes through her performances. In late 2025, she traveled to Canada to perform at a charity event marking the 25th anniversary of the Caribbean Children's Foundation. The organization focuses on supporting Caribbean children, whether through education, healthcare, or community development initiatives. On her official social media, she shared highlights of the event, expressing pride in being part of a celebration that centered on giving back. It wasn't just another international appearance, it was purpose-driven. Her involvement reflects something consistent in her career. She understands the power of visibility. When a pioneer of Chutney Soca stands on a stage for charity, it sends a message. Culture and compassion go hand in hand. Beyond that event, she has also shown support for organizations tied to child welfare, disaster relief, and healthcare efforts within Trinidad and Tobago. Groups such as the TT Red Cross or cancer support initiatives represent the kind of community-centered causes she aligns with. While not every appearance makes headlines, the pattern is clear. She lends her influence where it can make a difference. In small island nations, philanthropy often looks different than it does in larger countries. It may not always involve multi-million-dollar foundations. Sometimes it's about performing at a benefit concert. Sometimes it's about helping raise funds after a natural disaster. Sometimes it's simply about reminding communities that they are seen and valued. And beyond the public performances and charitable events, there is another side of her story. The woman behind the microphone. Now approaching 68, she lives a life that feels steady and intentional. Unlike many public figures, she doesn't flood social media with daily routines or personal updates. Her platforms center mostly on music, performances, and cultural milestones. But between those posts, small glimpses reveal what truly matters to her. Her husband, Sudath Persad, has been a quiet pillar in her journey. Their partnership has remained largely out of the spotlight, grounded and private. Together, they've raised 2 children, Akash and Carrie, who represent a different chapter of her legacy, one built not on stage lights, but on home values. In recent years, her joy has extended into grandmotherhood. In October 2025, she traveled to New York City for a family wedding, sharing warm photos alongside her granddaughters and relatives. The images weren't glamorous red carpet moments. They were simple, heartfelt snapshots, hugs, smiles, multi-generational pride. It was clear she treasures those gatherings just as much as any carnival headline. Her routine today blends travel with reflection. She attends national award ceremonies like receiving the Hummingbird Gold Medal in September 2025, a moment of national honor that closed a powerful circle in her career. Yet she moves through those events with humility, often redirecting praise back to community and culture. Daily life for Drupatee isn't about constant spectacle. It's rehearsals, community appearances, family dinners, preparing for carnival season, reflecting on more than 40 years in music while still planning the next performance. She has never separated her personal identity from her cultural identity. The same woman who once faced criticism for redefining Chutney Soca now stands as a respected matriarch in both music and family life. Thank you for staying with us and celebrating her remarkable life. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Your support keeps these cultural stories alive, and we'll see you in the next one.